Hello, everybody. My name is Sandy Clemens, and today we're going to talk about financial freedom. I am recording this so that those of you that know people that couldn't be here, you guys can use it later and send it to family and friends, that kind of stuff. Um, Let me talk about what this is going to be about, okay? Uh, this is about building security. And there is, let me tell you, at the end, I'm going to ask you to type in your email address. And some of you may go, oh, you already have my email address. I want your name and your full name and your email address so that I can email you two things. One of which is actually a workbook. I'm going to talk about part of it, but there's actually several things that I'm going to ask you to do to kind of be very self-reflective of how are your finances, how are you doing, are you going down this list, are you have every thing that you can do to about saving money and being wise with your money, about looking at where your finances are, and it's literally a checklist kind of stuff to do. The second part about it is going to be some of you may be going, I can't save money because I'm barely living paycheck to paycheck. And that is a lot of people right now. And that's where we have to rethink about what are you guys doing with your life? Where can you find another source of income? And with that, I'm going to send you guys a little book that I wrote about the different kinds of companies that are out there and the options in choosing. My background is I've actually been working from home since I was 16. I started out teaching piano lessons. I started out, I wrote books for a living there. I wrote a bunch of computer books. I had an entertainment company where I trained actors, models, singers, and dancers and took them to LA and New York. I've owned a bed and breakfast. Um, and I have lived in the world of having to ask people for money to pay me. I hate that. And I'm actually not very good at asking people to pay me, to tell you the truth. I hate that. So I found a company 15 years ago that I've been working at. I've actually shut down my entertainment company to do this, and I've recently been slowing down and shutting down my bed and breakfast to work here. Um, but during that journey, I found a lot of things out. I found out things about MLMs and binary payment systems and what is the deal about working hourly and what is this pay to play thing? Like pay to be a part of your company, like pay a $300 fee to work? What? Starbucks wouldn't do that to me. Why are you doing that to me, right? So we're going to cover that too. That is the other booklet that I'm going to give you. And at the end, if you want to find out more about where I'm working, what I'm doing, that kind of thing, those people can stay on and I'll walk you through the company, the awards that we win, and then our compensation plan and how we do what it is that we do. But out of the four boys that I have, two of them work from home. And none of them have the flexibility that I have. They don't make as much money as I do. I get to work wherever my phone is, which is pretty darn amazing. And the other part of my story is at one point in time, I racked up $150,000 in medical debt. I had five major kidney surgeries, and I had to go through this process because there was a point in time I couldn't have another surgery unless I put a 50% down, and I was paying for medical procedures on credit cards. How's that for nice? I can't perform this life-saving surgery until you pay us half. Do you have a credit card? Literally what the hospital told me. Thank you, Kootenai Medical. You suck. So, there's a little plug for them. So I have lived through this. I have had a $150,000 medical debt. I took 5 years off from working anything, and because of the company I partnered with, I still made a paycheck even though I didn't show up for 5 years. That's called residual income. But when I had that medical debt, I was doing all the things which we started looking at. Now we've got these credit cards I didn't have, so I could pay for that and pay for that and pay for that. And how do we go through that? So this is what I'm going to teach you guys because I've been there. I've been from where I made a lot of money. I've been there where I was financial devastation. I've been there when I had to make decisions about what kind of company I wanted to work for and what was important to me. And every year we were asked about like, why are you doing this? And my why kind of changed. Now I'm a grandma with another one on the way. And anytime I get to travel or go hang out in the sun with my sister, man, I am all about palm trees and beaches and sunsets and uh, drinking pina coladas with my friend Patty. That's kind of what my life is, what I want to do. So I also love teaching people, and this is the company that I'm with. I teach, as I talk about pina coladas. I work with a health and wellness company. So let me share my screen and we're going to talk about how all of this goes together. There's some things I'm going to ask you to do. So I need you to have a piece of paper ready because we're going to go through a little checklist of stuff that you do. Okay. So have a piece of paper and a pencil because I like to be interactive. Here we go. All right. I'm going to make you guys smaller here. Where's my mouse? Okay. So we're going to talk about some strategies to take control of your finances. Like I said, a work will be sent to you. So in the chat box, please type in your name, your full name, and your email address so that I can send this to you, full name and email address. And how to create income from your home. And here's why this is important. And you may be going, I am financially set. I am awesome. I don't need to make another income. 70% of Americans are looking for a way to earn a second income. 70%. So if you are someone that actually works with me and you're kind of afraid to approach someone about earning an extra income, statistically, they're probably thinking about it. Isn't that a scary little thing there? So why this matters. And so there's always kind of a thing that is not spoken, and it's the financial stress. Why is this important to us about having a financial freedom? What that means is not having to worry every single month, like, do I get to pay the electric bill or the car bill? Which one's going to happen? And if this is you, you need to write this down. Over 60% of Americans can't cover a $1,000 emergency. Now, again, because of my life situations, I have an emergency fund. Like 3 years in a row, something happened and me punctured tires because of snowbanks. And 3 years in a row, I had to buy new tires. $1,600 a piece. I mean, for tires, 4 tires, right? So yes, I have an emergency fund now. Financial stress, you guys, actually affects your health and your relationships and your peace of mind. And small, consistent steps can make a huge difference. So that's what the workbook is about. It's about the small, consistent steps. Just like if you're going to work from home, it's about small, consistent steps about working from home. So this is what yours to do, you guys. This evening, I want you, as I go through these things, have a yes column, a no column, and a to-do column, right? So have 3 columns and write this stuff down because I want you to take a little survey about how are you doing. So for example, do you have a $1,000 emergency fund? So just write in your yes column, yes, $1,000, no column, $1,000 emergency. We're going to see how the standing goes, okay? So let's just talk about why. Why is this important? Financial stress, you guys, there's an emotional and mental health that goes with financial stuff. Constantly worrying about bills leads to anxiety, insomnia, and depression. Something that a lot of you guys do not know about me and my fabulous husband. Our financial debt almost tore us apart. Literally almost tore us apart. And a lot of people don't realize that because I love my husband, but the financial stress was so much we actually separated for a while. It was pretty bad. And that's how much I was like so anxious and so upset about the fact of our financial standing. The parents often feel guilty for not being able to provide enough. I mean, if you guys know any moms, some of the things that we had, like I had to pay for 4 kids in braces. Anybody pay for braces? Oh my Lord, I could have bought a car with 4 braces, right? How about 4 proms? 4 driver's eds. Those are the things for, football camps and that kinds of stuff. And children do pick up on tension, and it can lead to severe security or fear in your children when there's not financial things because parents bicker over this stuff. Of course, relationship strains are always going on. Money is one of the top causes of arguments and even divorce. And couples blame each other for overspending or not earning enough. Financial security means the money hiding. And then often one partner feels ashamed or fearful because of this. So if you're having stress in your relationship, stop and look and say, is this because of the relationship or is this financial issues? The impact on children is huge. This is the part a lot of people don't realize is that kids can sense stress and they grow up being afraid to ask for anything, or they become hoarders because they're afraid of losing it. That fear lasts a long, long time. Limited funds means missing activities. I have a lot of people that work for me because they're wanting to pay for these activities. Like I have a lady that is just wanting to pay for her gas for her new boat, which is awesome. She works with me because she wants to pay for gas for her boat. She's earning extra to pay for the extras in life. Um, so family lifestyles and stabilities, people living paycheck to paycheck may experience housing instability. Um, I tell you what, right now where I live, it's hard to find a house. Like the normal average American can't afford to live here. It's so crazy right now. Constant scarcity leads to reactive decisions instead of planning ahead. This is huge. This is why you guys are going to get a workbook. It is about planning ahead with your finances, and vacation, family time become rare. My lesson that I learned through my kidneys issue and financial devastation is I actually pay myself every time I go to the grocery store. You know, when they always say you want cash back, I say yes, I put that money into an account. So every time I go to the grocery store, I pay myself extra that goes into account, which is why how I pay for my trips. So that's one of the ways to save money. You want cash back? Yes. And put it into an account. This is the one that really relates to a lot of us that work with our health and wellness company is the physical health. Stress hormones, you guys, leads to so much. Stress hormones leads to weight gain, fatigue, headaches, your immune system. It is huge how your stress hormone can affect you. When your immune system is weak, and you guys, that's when your cells can break down. That's why you get colds, cells breaking down over time. Cancer can come into that. But also people that can't afford things also skip medical or dental care to save money, which of course, as we know, causes long-term issues. So this is one of my funds, and that we have set up is a medical fund. That's another fund that I learned from having a devastation is we need to have a medical fund, which we've used for David had to go through a bunch of dental stuff, and luckily we were able to pay for it. So the bigger picture, you guys, is financial stress doesn't affect your bank accounts. It affects your confidence, your connection, and hope of getting out of it. So that's why learning to manage this stuff is important. So financial freedom is also emotional freedom. It is absolutely emotional freedom. My whole attitude about money has changed because of what I went through. And it makes me absolutely determined that I will never, ever, ever be in that situation ever again. That I don't have the money, I don't have the protection, I don't have the emotional relaxation and stress free knowing that I have accounts to cover any kind of situation. Okay, so we're going to start with the basics, just smart money habits. This is on your yes or no list, you guys. Do you have an emergency fund? Write it down, yes or no. Do you have 6 months of living expenses in your yes or no column? Do you track your income expenses? Yes or no column. Track expenses and income. Do you have that? Okay, and one of the things that you can do, a notebook or budgeting apps, on the document that I'm going to send you, I have a list of budgeting apps for you to use. To find out like how many subscriptions do you have? Acorn, where you can invest money every time you spend money. There's some practical apps that I'm going to send you guys too. Plan ahead. Like you guys, braces. Prom, college. I came up with this, go, what are these? Because I've had to pay for this stuff, right? A future fund for these milestones. If you are a mom, think about this. If you're a grandma, if you are working with parents, one of the best things that you can do is take these numbers and take a picture of it and work it into your conversations, which is, oh, I see you have 3 kids, 3 proms. Oh, you've got 3 girls. Let's bump up that prom dress cost. Do you have, $3,600 to pay for prom? Or do you want to tell your daughter you can't do it? I could have put on here sports events. Yeah, put somebody in football from 6th grade through senior year. There's some expenses. Soccer, baseball's really expensive. Plan for life events. So those of you that work with me, this is one of the things that needs to be in your vocabulary is helping people to plan for these events. And then there's hidden costs. How many of you guys hit the coffee stand every day? That's a lot of money per year that you're spending on coffee. Can't remember the last time I actually bought coffee, right? Other than making it home, because my coffee at home is better than anything I can get in town. It's really can. Invest in over 10 years, guys. That's 20. If you invested that money over 10 years, you'd get $22,000 in return as opposed to investing that in coffee. So small daily choices, small daily choices. Do you eat out every day at lunch? Do you go by and drive by and get coffee? Those things have to add up. And if you just start going for a season, for everything, there is a season. For a season, if I just cut this out, how much money would I save to be able to apply towards that? Spending money. Cut the useless spending, right? Without feeling deprived. Cancel unused subscription. There is literally an app out there where you can do your subscriptions. I'm going to turn my sound off because it keeps beeping at me. Rocket is a thing out there that you can subscribe to and say, oh, I thought I had 3 subscriptions, so I have 15, and it's costing me, $300 a month. Cook more, eat out less. I do not eat out a lot, except when I travel, of course. Review automatic charges monthly. What are you being charged? And with apps out there, you guys, this is where it can get absolutely crazy with apps. I just all of a sudden said that your whatever is about to renew, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot I subscribed to that. That just happened today. And always look at your phone. So look at your phone. This is your to-do. Write this down and look at every single app and go, is that costing me money? Which I did as I started doing that yesterday. I realized, oh, I still had a subscription to Jump Speak. I'm learning Italian. Well, there's a cost. There's another one to Ultimate Guitar, which is about my chords for music. That adds up. So there are some simple ways to save. Along with the workbook, you're going to get a whole list of ways that with checklists for you guys to start doing. Automatic savings, pay yourself first, right? The rule is this: once you get a paycheck, you need to pay yourself first for savings. Pay yourself first. Shop with a list. No impromptu shopping. We have shopping lists that we go through. That way we only buy that. The company that I work for actually has cashback apps and rewards. My cashback is the fact that this month when I placed my order, I saved $230. And I've been shopping here for 15 years. $230 times 15 years is a lot of money. A lot of money. That's how much money I have saved by shopping where I shop, which I'm going to share later for those of you that don't know about it. Quality items, you guys, can we just say no to the dollar store? Just no for the toxic products, for things that don't last, like fire the dollar store. Okay, in your workbook, this is a glimpse of what it's going to do. Your foundation is this, to get clear on where you are. And when I did this, when I had all the medical debt, I was astounded what I had to deal with. And I went into, you cry for the day and then you go, oh my God, how am I going to get out of this? And God kind of pointed out, this is just for a season. Get it under control. It's just for a season. So this is on your workbook, writing down what is your income, track every expense for 1 month. This is your audit. Write this in your column. Do you audit your expenses? Yes or no? Write it down in your column. Yes or no? Do you audit your expenses? Do you know how much you spend on eating out, all that kind of stuff, right? And then identify your 3 money leaks. It could be the coffee one. It could be an app. It could be, oh yeah, there's Temu. Let me just buy those earrings for $3, but you did it 10 times this month, right? Temu. That's a trap. Review your credit report. When I reviewed my credit report, it depressed me until I realized it's for a season and I can build it back up. But this is about knowing your financial picture and what is ahead. Again, for this season, get to know yourself. For those of us that have been on this R3 diet, we took the plunge and we got on the scales, right? And it was scary for some people, but for that moment in time, we knew where we were and we knew how to go forward. Same thing here. Write it down so you know how to go forward. Here's the next thing that you're going to do. You're going to start building a safety net. Open a separate savings accounts for emergencies. You guys, I cannot stress how important that is. Save at least $1,000 as a starter for your emergency fund. Now, if you're sitting there going, I can't even do that. We're gonna talk about that next. Aim to build 3 to 6 months of living expenses over time. If the apocalypse happened, you need to have 6 months of living expenses, right? Um, Set up automatic transfers to savings each period. So this is on your list to do. Does your bank have an automatic savings? Mine does. So it takes out X amount of money when I get paid on the 12th and it sends it to my savings account. Check to see if you guys can do that. Okay, because this is actually not what if, it's when. It's not if your tires are going to go out, it's when. That's just the truth. Someday you're going to need tires. It's not if you will need a dental bill or medical bill, it's when, right? That kind of thing that happens. And then we're going to do this, and this is the page 3 of the workbook about creating a budget that works. There's a budgeting method. I'm going to show you what the 50-30-20 rule is. Some people will do an envelope that says, here's 20 bucks or here's 50 bucks for the month. This is all I have to do to spend on eating out this month. And when it's gone, it's gone. Some people like that physicality of having that. Realistic spending limits in each category, meaning you can't say, well, I'm only going to spend $5 this month on, eating out. Fun money. You guys, you do have to reward yourself. It's important that you understand, because even though everything's in a season, we like to be rewarded. And then be realistic about reviewing and adjusting. So tell your money where to go before it disappears. You're in charge of it. Be proactive with it. Proactive and understand your numbers. This is a 50-30-20. 50% of your income is the essentials that you have to pay. Mortgage, rent, utilities, groceries. That's where 50% of your income needs to go. If you're off balance on this, then maybe you do really need another source of income. This is where the reality comes in. If you are saying half my income has to go these things, it can't, because I can't pay for the rest of my stuff. 30% about what you want, like fun, dining out, entertaining, shopping. 20% is about savings and debt payoff. So look at your income and start dividing it up in those things. And if you can't cover your mortgage or all this stuff and everything, then you're in a financial deficit. We need to get you more money, right? Now, like I said, there are some people that are looking at this and maybe going, $1,000 in savings. I am every month, by the time I pay for my rent and some food and a little bit of gas, I don't even have enough for that. Like I'm, stealing from Peter to pay Paul. The best savers even struggle when costs rise faster than wages. There's literally a group of people out there that are retired that through tax accountants that say people that are on Social Security finally retiring, in about 5 years, that retirement gets a little bit, if it's just Social Security, gets a little bit stiff because of rising costs. About after 5 years, people that are retired are starting to look for other sources of income. Who do you know that's retiring or has retired? That's why when you go to Walmart and go to those things, those are the greeters, the people that are retired. More Americans need a second income stream to keep up, and 70% of Americans are looking for a side gig. That's a lot, right? And you need a side gig if you cannot pay off your debt. You need it. Can't keep cutting it short and think things are going to change. So the reality of today's job market, you guys, unemployment is 4.3%. That's 7 million people that do not have a job. Now, this is before the government shut down, so I wonder what that number is now. 12 million people are actively job hunting. That's a lot. 1 in 5 people work remotely part-time. And remote opportunities are rising across industries. A lot of them are. But there's a problem with a lot of that are out there. Because this is what we all typically want, flexibility. I mean, do you know of anybody that says, I like another side gig, but I don't want to be flexible about it? I want it to be super strict. I want it like the military. Nobody says that, right? Stability. And this comes in with the fact that there's a lot of MLMs out there that are not stable at all. There's a lot of startup, hey, ride the wave, or the great things. People want control over their time and what it is that they're doing. They want to have a purpose and they want potential. Now, these are interesting words to come up with because um, even if people are wanting a side gig, they still want potential. They don't want to be like the toll booth operator where that's all you do, right? They want something to look forward to. So this is why I have found over doing what I do for 15 years, why people are so afraid. There are a lot of MLMs out there. MLMs, which stands for multi-level marketing companies, some of them have some great products, but from a business standpoint, they're not what I'd call stable because they have something called a binary payment system. And the book that I wrote that I'm going to send you guys talks about what that binary system is. All right, why it's not a great system to be paying on. There are pay to play places out there, which is if you want to work for a company, you have to pay $500. Starbucks doesn't ask me to pay for my apron, that kind of thing. There is no flexibility. Like I said, I have two boys that work from home. They don't have flexibility. One of them is literally tied to his computer. That's how they monitor that he's working. And then there's people that are afraid of just working hourly rates because you cannot ever get ahead. You're giving your time for dollar amounts, and if you don't show up, you don't get paid. That's not the best. I would never work hourly for anyone ever, ever, ever again because I'm worth more than that because I work really hard. You want a company that has real people and real results. And what you want to look for is something that has a high retention rate. In other words, happy customers, which means a happy you. So when you're looking for things, which is why I am working for the company that I work for, I look for retention rates. That's the one question you should be asking. How happy and how many customers come back? So in plain English, a company's customer retention rate is the percentage of customers who stick around and keep buying from them over time. In the book that I'm sending you guys, I actually researched a bunch of companies, like retail stores typically have a 40% retention rate. So if a company was like a party, the retention rate is going to tell you how many people had a great time that they didn't want to leave and they come back every weekend with snacks. That's a retention rate. Company that I work for has a super high retention rate. It's got a 96% retention rate. That's incredibly high. Just picture yourself, at a company where people wouldn't think about going anywhere else. So what company meets these needs? So company that I'm going to share with people that are not aware of it is a proven work from home business model. Proven 40-year company, proven that this works. Wellness products, and this is the things that's interesting. I used to have an entertainment company. People used me once in a lifetime. There was no repeat, right? Our wellness company is a company where families are already using these products. We're just inviting them to use ours. And once they try the products, they want to stay. So that goes back to having a high retention rate. Low startup costs, in other words, there's with a full support of a team. Our training, our mentorship, our community is free. We never pay for training. We offer it. In fact, right before this call, we were on an hour training. That was really cool. And then flexible hours, which is we get to work around our family instead of having to have our family around our work. So this is why I don't want to do hourly because I want to be able to be flexible and work around my grandson's schedule. With also residual income, which means those 5 years that I took off having kidney surgeries, I still made a paycheck. My sister's on the call here, and she started with me, and she took about 10 years off to go help family members and help an elderly father and elderly mother have some open heart surgery. And she still made a paycheck for 10 years without working. Pretty darn cool story, right? So let's talk about what's possible. If you're ready to create stability and freedom, we're going to chat after this. And people that are already here and already working with me, they'll be welcome to leave. The company that we work with is called Melaleuca. Melaleuca is an online shopping site. We help families to switch over their shopping and to be able to have lower cost products, non-toxic products, and it allows you to work from home doing this. So it is considered the best store in the USA by USA Today. Most trusted store, these are the awards that we just won. Forbes magazine was voted the best employer for women 3 years in a row. So I want to thank you guys for being here. I'm going to stop the recording. Everyone say bye.